Good morning from the garden. It's a beautiful morning, April 2nd, and today I want to show you how I sow a polyculture of annual vegetables. If you're an organic gardener, you're probably familiar with companion planting, where two different vegetables are combined so that they have a beneficial influence on each other. But what I'm about to show you is a much more radical approach, combining plants from 5 different plant families and many more varieties. I have designed this polyculture so that it can be sown all at once, but we harvest from it from about 4 weeks after sowing until December, because of the combination of the different vegetables. There are some important things that you have to think about. Because you're broadcasting the seeds, it's important that you start on soil that is quite weed-free and free of seeds that could germinate, because weeding is quite difficult because you have such a variety of plants. And also it's probably not a good idea to do this if you are a first-time gardener, because you have to be able to recognize the plants at a seedling stage. You'll be harvesting them early. Also, of course, you have to know what is a vegetable and what's a weed. Because I'm combining vegetables with different growth habits and different root system, they can be sown much closer together than you would be able otherwise, and that means we get a much bigger harvest from the space available. Also, the extreme diversity is an insurance against pest and disease problems. I sow the seeds per group, and the first group are different kinds of leaf mustard. What I have here is rocket, dragon tongue, that's a red-winged rocket, Bekana, a quite mild tasting leaf mustard, golden frills and ruby streaks, but you can use any kind of leaf mustard. And I mix the seeds and then sow them together. Leaf mustard is the fastest growing of all the vegetables in the polyculture. It will germinate fastest and will cover the ground as a sort of living mulch and keep it moist for the slower germinating seeds. You have to start harvesting as soon as the plants get crowded, so you don't let them grow too big, you just start harvesting them as seedlings. I try to sow the seeds as evenly as possible. Of course it will not be perfect, but that doesn't matter because you can correct it by harvesting where they are too dense. The second group that I'm sowing are different kinds of lettuce. I have both loose leaf varieties and butterhead varieties. And again, you can use anything you want. You can use leftover seeds from past years. But it's important to have a variety because it ensures longer harvest as well. Different lettuces grow at different rates, so it means that you will be able to harvest over a longer period of time. Again, I mix the different kinds in a bowl and I will sow them together. The third group that I'm sowing are different varieties of chicory or Radicchio. And again, you could buy different varieties of used leftover seeds from previous years, but I bought a mix, which is easier. And again, I'm sowing them, I'm broadcasting the seeds all over the bed. Because Radicchio is slower growing than lettuce, these are usually the greens that we can be harvesting until fall. The fourth group that I'm sowing are onions, and I'm opting for spring onions because with their neat, upright growing habit they fit easily between other vegetables, and also because of their antifungal properties they're a good companion plant. I have different varieties here, but some of them are leftover seeds from past years, so I don't expect to get a great germination from them, but it is a way to use up the seed that I have. The fifth group are plants from the carrot family, Composites, which I have 2 varieties of carrots. One that is a mini carrot, which will be early maturing, and another one, purple variety. I have parsnips, which are very slow growing and we can harvest in the fall, and parsley, which is a member of the same family. And again, I'm mixing the seed and broadcasting it over the bed. The last group that I'm sowing are beets. I have 3 different varieties of red beet. I have Wodan, Robuschka and McGregor, but again, it doesn't matter. You can use the pretty Piojo beets or whatever. And I also have chard, green chard in this case, which is also sometimes called perpetual spinach, but it belongs to the same family. If the beets come up too densely, you can thin them and eat the seedlings because the leaves are quite delicious, and you can leave the rest develop proper beet roots. I've just counted that I'd sown 25 different varieties. You can do more or less as you wish, but it's good to sow something from every group. There's one thing that I maybe should have mentioned at the beginning, and that is why I'm sowing per group, because sometimes people ask why can't you just mix everything and then sow it at once. The reason is that way you're combining seeds that are very light and very heavy, and it's very difficult to get an even distribution of seeds over the bed. Because if you do that, you try to sow, then the very light seeds will fly further away, the heavier seeds like beets will fall close to you, and the distribution is very uneven as a result. So that's the reason why I'm doing it this way, which is perhaps a little more complicated, but it gets better results. After all the seeds have been sown, you need to cover them with a thin layer of, for example, compost, but it needs to be free of weed seed. I'm using our homemade compost, which is very excellent quality, and I also know that there are almost no weed seeds in it because I don't throw any flowering or any flowering weeds on compost heap. If you don't have good compost yourself, you can buy it. It's probably what you buy is probably going to be free of weed seeds or commercially made, or for example cocoa peat. And try to do it in a way that you don't dislodge the seeds. The last thing I need to do is water the bed thoroughly. I'll keep it moist until the seeds start germinating, and I hope to start harvesting in about 4 weeks. I hope this video will inspire you to try growing your own polycultures. I'll keep you up to date with the development of ours, so please subscribe if you want to follow along.